Hi, students, PhD student. This time, just like to show you one little example from John Creswell books, 2013. Five approaches. I pick my favorite method, my favorite approach, which is case study. So Appendix F of John Creswell books in 2013 really show this example of one case study and all of the typical ways how to do case study. Okay, so the title was the campus response to a student gunman. So just few days after one campus in the United States was attacked by a gunman, and some researchers decided to go there to find out about responses. You see the title is campus response to a gunman, and then this is how they designed. They decided to make it a case study because they turned the whole campus into one case, because there are many cases before. So they turn into one case, and then they talk about hundreds of students, management, security guards, teacher, campus police, campus administrators, right? And then this is how they plan the study, right? First, they pick the multiple sources of information. This multiple source of information is a typical word for case study. Yeah, you really have to take a lot of sources of information before you get convinced. Right? And then the type of data that they look for is the narrative structure. They don't mess it around with narrative approach, but narrative means story. Story structure is taking these details. They ask for details for these people, quotes for informants, and stating their own researchers' interpretation of events, interpretation within the framework of organization and for psychological issues. These are the concepts. So these researchers are using the framework of psychological and organizational issues, which is always important because concepts help them to think and to classify things around. Because the data is always mess, right? The hundreds of people will give you hundreds of things, but once you are organized like student data, administrators data, security data, police information, something like that, you might come up with a good case study that would cover many aspects of the case study itself, right? So this is very short, but should be a good example. Study design, they call it case study design. And then they found the five themes. At the end, they find five themes: denial, after they find a pattern, right? Fear, and safety concern, and then the safety concern is retriggering. Retriggering is the process by which a new violence will cause individuals to remember what happened, bad things earlier. So it's retrigger what happened before. This violence retrigger what violence before. So it's not a good reaction. No? It's traumatizing. Retriggering, and then campus planning. So these are the evidence that they collect from the case, expression by counselors. Okay, and then references is from study of Walker and Bird, and then there are many other things around it. Protocols used in incident. The references are given here, right? And then the discussion of this finding, they found that there are two groups of the category: organizational and psychological framework or response. Of course, because they're doing these two approaches before. It's two framework, by the way. All right, and then this is what they found. All right, five. But these short examples, this appendix F, there's appendix A, B, C, D, E. I talk about other short research from other approaches like narrative, ethnography. It's very interesting example. But if you have the book, and please just read this just read the appendix, sure, and give you example and get a feeling of how people apply these 5 approaches and what type of data, what type of characters that, because I believe that when you pick your approach, your character is very dominant because your character is your asset. You cannot say there is no bad character, there is no good character. There is just characters. This is just you. This is your strongest asset is your character. You cannot run away from it. You try to pretend to be someone else. You cannot do that because your character will follow you along, right? For example, I had a student who pretend, I thought he's pretending to be someone else. He said, oh, I'm doing participatory action research. When actually he, at the end, she just come back with narratives of the story because her sympathy, her character is that she suffered the same thing. And when she collect data, she just shows her sympathy because that's her character. And she cannot run away with that. And in the defense, I said, are you sure you're doing participatory action research? Because I don't see action that you participate in. You don't participate in any action. You don't trigger any action. They don't do anything action but suffering. They're just suffering. And all you to do is you participate in the empathizing, this sympathizing with these samples. So at the end, the discussion is always about which approach that you will like to choose. But that's another question later. Usually, you need to talk sometime before you decide. Look at you and look at your interests and your characters is very important. Okay, I hope this short video might help you to give some idea of how to read the book of George Creswell. Okay. Good evening, good night. See you soon in another video.